I'm Frank, and I'm all about helping business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their lawn care business. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. What's going on, lawn care pros? So today I have a special guest with me, Judd Richardson. He is the owner of Judd's Mowing and Mulch, LLC, out of Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Judd, how you doing today?
Hey, Frank, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about what the weather is like in Columbus, Ohio.
We got hit hard by a winter storm maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we still got piles of snow everywhere. Um, we're above freezing finally, but everything's melting. We can't we haven't seen the grass for 3 or 4 weeks now.
So being a lawn mowing company, mowing and mulch, and probably you do other maintenance type of work. What do you do? What do you do during this time of year?
So I'm actually a high school history teacher. I've been teaching for the last 7 or 8 years here, and I do lawn and landscaping on the side. And it's kind of been cool to see my landscaping business grow and present different career opportunities for me.
Awesome. So, I connected with you on Instagram, and I thought you had a really cool story, and that's why I wanted you to get on the podcast, because there's a lot of, people that are looking to either start their lawn care business, or maybe they've been doing it on the side. Maybe they have a full-time job right now and they're doing the work on the side, and at some point, they decide to pull the trigger, right? Whether they're starting their business or, transitioning from part-time to full-time. Tell me where you're at in your journey.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been doing part-time landscaping for the last, well, since I've been in college, the last 8 years or so. I'm going to be the guy to pull the plug this June when the school year is over. I'm not going to renew my teaching contract, and I'm going to go into landscaping. I'm not going to say full time. I'm going to say about 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I have about two or 3 days of work each week. My goal is to get up to about 4.5 days of work each week. My target number is right about 100 clients, which will give me the income that I need to go in full time. But yeah, this has been a process of getting to this point, building up the client base and the knowledge that you need to go out on your own as your own business.
Absolutely. So going from being a teacher to the lawn care industry, right? Landscaping,
Yeah.
lawn service. That's kind of a leap there, right? Like, did you have some experience? Did you have some experience before, or did you kind of just pick it up, as you're teaching and stuff, and then you started mowing a few yards and saying, "Man, this is kind of cool." And
Yeah.
like, tell me, how did that come about? Was it, before you were teaching, you were always interested in? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I started out when I was 9 years old. I hung flyers around my neighborhood and asked people if they wanted their grass cut. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was always the kid in high school who got like a couple $100 a week mowing and, had that spending money. You thought you were all that. Um, but no, in college, I helped out my buddy who had his own little landscaping business. He had a truck and a trailer, and I learned some of the ins and outs of landscaping from him. And um, as a teacher, you don't make a lot of money starting out. I think my first year I was making like 24,000 a year with a college degree. How about that?
That's a
Anyway,
shame. That's a shame, is what that is.
it really is. Anyway, so I started mowing grass on the side like I'd done my whole life. I bought like a $1,200 walk behind, one of the Cub Cadet 33 inches,
Oh, wow.
a set of ramps that goes in the back of my little Ford Ranger, a steel trimmer, and a little blower, and picked up. I think I was at 12 or 13 my first year, and then second, third year, I'm up to like 30, 40 yards. Um, since then, I've actually got some like legit equipment. I'm running Exmark commercial mowers right now, the Laser Z's. I've Tomorrow, I'm super pumped. Tomorrow, I have my Gravely 32-inch Pro stance coming in. I ordered that like 3 months ago, and I've been praying hard that it gets in time with all the shortages and stuff. Um, so yeah, next year we'll be running full commercial equipment, all that's new in the last 2 or 3 years. Um, And yeah, our route, we were running in 3 different cities, all within 20 minutes of each other, about 50 or 60 clients a week 2 years ago.
Mm.
And since then, I have cut all of my clients down to a 5 mile radius. And so last year, we were running 55 clients a week with like 60 total, all within a 5 mile radius. And it's really increased efficiency and profit margin and all of that. It's been great to see. This is like my side hustle, and moving from the teaching full time to making it my career in the landscaping field. It's going to be really interesting for me to see how I can keep the efficiency up while I'm expanding. I think that'll be one of my biggest challenges.
Yeah, for sure. That's really interesting. So, you referenced, when you first started out, you had, one type of mower. Now you've expanded and you're getting more commercial type mowers.
Yeah,
I always tell people when they're first starting out, just use whatever you need, right? Like whatever you
right.
have, just, keep it simple. And what a cool business this is, right? What a cool business this is in the sense that you were able to go out probably for under $2,000, not including your truck that maybe you already had, right? For
I did.
probably,
Yeah.
$2,000, 2,500, whatever that might be. And you can maybe elaborate on that and give us a better number. How cool is it that you're able to start a business, with such a low barrier to entry, right?
No, it's really cool. And obviously, you want to use the nicest equipment you can afford.
Hmm.
But everybody, when we're starting out, I mean, you have what you have, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, and the most important thing you have to have is customers, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have $10,000 worth of equipment. If you don't have any customers, you're getting beat out by the guy that's you know got a $500 mower, right?
Right. And this is the thing is if you have the relationship with the customer, you can get away with anything as long as you're getting the work done. So that's what I always tell people when they're starting out is find 20, 30 people and treat them like the best clients you'd ever have.
Hmm.
Offer to do services where like at this point in my career, I wouldn't imagine doing. Like I think there was one guy that had like a maybe a 10 by 10 foot fenced in area in his backyard, and I was just trimming that down, and he's like, no, I want you to push the push mower all the way to the backyard
Mm.
and then push mow that. Now I just be like, no, that's not a service I offer. But then I was like, you are literally what, 5-10% of my income. I've got
Yeah.
to do whatever I can to keep you happy. um, and so if you start by building those relationships, and then when you are behind 2 or 3 days and you call them up, they're completely understanding because you do call them up, 2 or 3 days, if you're going to be late 2 or 3 days. So that's what I say. Treat your initial clients like they're like they're kings of the world, like your most important clients, and then that can beat out anybody with better equipment than you.
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of joke around with some of my friends when in the lawn care industry is I remember when I was first starting out, and many of us when we were first starting out, you went from one job to the other, and you didn't have enough business, right, to be able to go, no, I can't do that. I joke around that, one minute I'm mowing and somebody says, hey, can you put shingles on my doghouse? I'm like, well, I don't know how to put shingles on my doghouse. And I'm just joking about that. That actually never happened. But if it did, I would be like, oh, sure, I'm going to do it. Hey, can you sweep out this or can you do the gutters? Oh, sure, I'm going to do it. But once you get more established, right, and you're able to pick and choose, you have the comfort of being able to say the magic words, no.
Exactly. Like you're saying, there are some of the craziest jobs that I did the first couple years I did this, and I hated myself every minute I was. Uh, every minute you were doing this, like I think I volunteered to remove a guy's retaining wall that was crumbling apart, and you completely underquote them. So I'm like, oh, that'll take a couple hours. It ends up taking 2 days.
Yeah.
You spend 2 days working for like a $50. You have no idea what you're doing starting out, but I also still have him as a client right now.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And I'm sure you got probably some referrals from that, and things are going well. So,
Yeah, that's one thing I do every year is I send out a letter to all my clients. I first I update them on all of my life events. I've got 4 kids, and I send them a picture of them just so I'm a person and not just a business.
I like
And
that.
then I will include 5 or 6 business cards, and I have a business card that's a magnet for their fridge. And I tell them, I'm really looking for clients within this radius. If you have anybody, please send them the thing. And then I'll also send out an email, maybe 2 days later, when I'm assuming that they'll get it, that has a digital business card that they can email out to all their friends and post on social media. So that those are just some little tricks that I've learned that has helped me get people, clients in my radius, that are clients that I want to have.
Well, I tell you what, just listening to that, I mean, you're way ahead of the game. You're doing a great job. I think, our audience can really appreciate and get some tips and tricks because I think what you're saying with the magnets, which a lot of people don't do that. I used to do that whenever I first started out. I would send out literally magnets to everybody, every customer. I would even put magnets for the customers that I didn't have that were next to customers that I did have. I would because if they happen to keep it, it's like I'm in your home. So that's a great idea.
And I do that every year too. Is all my existing clients, I knock 5 doors down one way, five the next way, and then 10 across the street. And I knock on their door and I actually introduce myself and I say, "Hey, I mow your neighbors. Here's my card. Here's a magnet." And I'm like, I don't care if it's just one time when you're on vacation. You call
Hmm.
me. I'm here every week anyway. You see the good work that I do. And then if I mow for them on vacation, there's a really high chance that the next year they're going to be like, I could mow, or I could call up Judd and have him come and mow for me this year. And I've gotten, and those aren't, it's not just like the leads that you get like on Facebook and Google on that. Those are actually people who know you as a person. They're not like calling you, "Hey, you're one of 3 people I called." There's someone who's like, if he says yes, I will give him my business. And those are the people that are just gold for clients.
I love that. And again, going back to when you were talking about route density, right? Like your radius has kind of shrunk to the 5 miles, and you're not doing 3 cities, and you're doing one city. That really pays dividend, and it really goes to your bottom line. So you've already established that some of the things you're doing is going to be really beneficial to the route density this year. But is there anything else that you're doing or thinking about doing to build that route density?
Well, ever since I started getting clients where I would pull up on the street and then I wouldn't leave for about, an hour and a half because I'm mowing 6 or 7 clients on the same street.
Nice.
That really builds up a reputation with everybody else. And I see a lot of people with their workers have their ear protection on, and of course that's all important. And then they're just head down, load up the trailer, close the trailer, and go. I'm all about Mo, keep your head up on a swivel, see people. You make eye contact with somebody, you can wave them down, introduce yourself, talk to them. Um, and if you see a yard a couple houses down that haven't been mowed yet this year, let's say you're in April and they haven't mowed yet, hang something on their door. It's not a big deal. I'll do a lot of. I always keep a hole punch and a bag of rubber bands in my truck, and so I'll hole punch the corner of a business card, loop the rubber band through, and then hang that on their doorknob. And
Okay.
it's like that is to get something on your doorknob where you have to undo it with the rubber band. You're like, oh, this is a person who physically hung this on my door. It's way more effective than one of the bulk mail generating leads. So anyway, I could talk all day about route density and advertising.
Well, that's awesome because that's important because people always ask, how do I get more customers? And one of the ways, and several different ways, is really concentrating on neighborhoods that you already have customers.
Right. And it's your my biggest weekly expense, once the equipment's paid off, is my gas for my truck hauling the trailers around. And you save money on that. And you loading up, unloading, that is all time. Driving from place to place, that's time not being used. And that's huge.
And you mentioned, like, you're expanding your business going into the 2022 season. You've got some new equipment. Have you hired new employees, or did you have somebody working with you before, maybe on a part-time basis? Were you doing everything yourself? Tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, this is key. This is everything about my business. Is there's this old man. I don't want to call him old man. He's 64.
Oh,
His name's
wow.
Rich. But he can outwork me. Those are the kind of guys you want, right? So he is actually a part-time pastor at a church down the road, and I've waved him down, and actually weird, he used to sub at the school that I was teaching at, so I got to know him that way too. And I was like, hey, do you need some extra business? And he's like, yeah. I said, I own a landscaping business, you want to help me out? This is my first year, mind you, like, so I
Hmm.
was still learning the ins and outs. And I was like, let's strike a deal. I will pay you half of all of the money that I make if you, with your truck, pick up my trailer and mow these yards. And
Nice.
because I'm not paying him hourly, and because he can call his own schedule here in Ohio, it's different state to state. I
Hmm.
can put him on a 1099. And he needed like 3 more quarters to get his Social Security, whatever stage that was.
Hmm.
And so it worked out for both of us. And this is key because there's a lot of guys that you can't trust out there, but he's someone I trust completely. And since then, he's one of my best friends, because he my business doesn't work without him as a teacher, especially as a teacher, because the first 2 months I'm still in school, and that's when it's just crazy hectic. I can completely trust him to pick up my equipment, mow my yards. If he gets waved down for new clients, he writes all of their information down, gives them my number, and we get them on the list. Whereas I've hired some people on and off that, I've wondered, what are they picking up the new clients for themselves?
Mm.
Are they mowing ones on the side? If you don't trust the person that's working for you, it just can't work long term. So if you're doing this as a side hustle and your main job is like teaching, like mine was, um, it won't work unless you have someone like Rich. Like last year, I got COVID in November or October,
Oh,
October,
wow.
and so I didn't have symptoms, but I was out for about 10 days or maybe 2 weeks,
Mm.
and he was able to take over everything for me, and it was seamless.
That's really great. And so going into 2022, are you looking to hire somebody full time, part time? As you go in full blast.
So I'm going in full blast, and so it's going to be awkward because, like I said, I've got to teach until the first week of June.
Mm.
So when I'm looking to expand, Rich can hold down the fort with my current 50, 60 clients. And so I've hired, I've had conversations with 3 guys, all of which seem like nice young men, who have mowed in the past. But that'll be the next step, is getting out there and training them once I have all the equipment and once the grass grows just a little bit and we're not under snow. Um, that will be the key for me, is will they be able to handle, the extra 40 yards a week? And I'm planning on paying them 25 bucks an hour,
Oh,
which
wow.
is
That's
which
really
is
good.
is is really good. And the reason why, they're both construction workers, and I know them a little bit, but I want them to completely take the job seriously. And in my situation, it is not a permanent hire; it's just for 2 months. So I
Mm.
want to make it worth their while. I don't want them to treat it as a joke. Which, if it's not something you're going to always be doing or just be doing for 2 months, they might not take it as seriously as I want. So I told them, you get half of all of my income, which comes to be about 25 an hour. Take it seriously, and keep these clients happy. And if you have to spend extra time, I will pay you extra money. But keep them happy so that when I take over in June and I'm running the route all by myself, or maybe with a helper, then it'll work.
Yeah. So then you have a good foundation. You don't want to lose customers and then have to kind of rebuild that. It's just really so much easier when you have a good retention rate and you're able to expand on it year over year. So let's fast forward to 2023, 2024, and as far as you want to go, and tell me, where do you see your business? Is this kind of something that you're going to do between getting to something else, or is this kind of like your future?
No, that's right on, Frank. So my goal is to eventually be in the ministry full time. So I've been in seminary for a while now, and this is working for the church doesn't really pay the bills. So this is the way that I'm planning on paying my bills until I finish seminary, and then maybe take a place in the ministry in the future. My wife and I have actually worked overseas with some mission organizations, and I would love to get to that point eventually.
Hmm.
But if I'm here mowing grass and serving in the church here, then I'd be completely happy too. So the answer is I don't really know, but I love mowing and I love working with the church, and I'm really excited for the career change in that. It's not that I don't love teaching, but like my passion is for the ministry and is for landscaping. And so I can't do, you can't be everything to everybody.
Absolutely. You got to follow your passion, and it sounds like that's something that you're laser focused on, and that's really good. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but it sounds like you are very focused in your mission.
Well, I'm 31, so just throw that out there. And
Yeah.
I've got 4 kids who are in between, let's see, twins in preschool. I have a kindergartner and a first grader, so I've got really young kids. And my wife's a teacher too. So we're out here just trying to impact our community for the better, providing some services and showing God's love to everybody that we see.
I love that. I love that a lot. And we're going to continue our conversation with Judd in the next episode. I hope this information was helpful to you. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you're notified of my future videos. See you next time, Lawn Care Pros.